Yo, baby! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you beautiful men and women around the world. Today, I was lucky to do an interview with a close brother of mine, Artur Shaknazarov. If you're a young man and you need someone to look up to for wisdom, he's a great person to have as a mentor. Thank you again for Artur to be my first guest. Make sure you check out all his social media links and mine in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, Artur Shaknazarov. Today I'm joined with Artur, but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Can I get your name, age, and what you do for a living, Artur?
Well, what's going on, brother? First of all,
right,
how are you?
right. Nice to see you again.
Right? My name is Artur Shaknazarov, 36 years old. I am entrepreneur. I different businesses, few businesses. That's pretty much it. Can
you touch on those three businesses?
Well, main thing I do is a wholesaling real estate. So currently, I believe we're one of the biggest players in the East Coast in terms of doing a wholesaling and real estate. So that's the main thing. Then I have my own clothing line and a suit store. Those are the two main things, and other small projects, international projects. Real estate internationally, we're doing the big project in El Salvador right now. So also Oklahoma, Texas area. So different small projects. But main thing is the real estate in the East Coast.
Which one are you more passionate about?
I'm more passionate about training young entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Right? Spreading the message and trying to help them to understand and believe that there's other way than just traditional way. So that's my passion. That's what I do.
Yeah, you definitely have helped me personally. I gained a lot of wisdom from you. Just sitting down, be able to be around you, even like being around you and your family. I thank you for that. And, just being able to take in the wisdom that you spread to other people.
I appreciate that. No, I enjoy your company. It's a brotherhood. It becomes a brotherhood. We know each other for a few times, but it feels like we've been friends for a long time. Yeah. So. Of course, appreciate it, bro.
Yes. You recently got married. I just want to say congratulations for that. How do you think your marriage life is going to impact your business and your personal life?
I think it's gonna 10x it for sure. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because of the person I chose.
Okay.
Right. The right woman can help you grow your business 10 times more. The wrong woman can kill everything you work hard for. So.
In today's society, it's hard to find that right woman.
Yes.
So where did you find her?
She was waitressing at a restaurant.
Okay.
She was waitressing at a restaurant. I have an eye for that. I guess when you been around the block, date a lot of people, travel different states, different countries, you become better at reading people, and not only just reading their persona, but the energy. And I always told her too, from the first time we spoke, that I was like, I know exactly how you are and who you are. She's like, you don't even know me. I was like, I know exactly how you are. So I just had an eye on it. People call it love from the first sight, whatever you want to call it. She did make me believe in love again, because prior to that, I wasn't dating. I was just focusing on my business. I told myself, when the right one comes, then I'll go for it, right? So we met in September, not this September, a couple of Septembers ago. We met in September. I started talking to her. She was super shy, super traditional, super conservative. I had to go ask her dad permission to date her.
Ooh.
Not even married, permission to date her. So,
that's something that's lost in today's society and culture.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The guys aren't even respectable enough to do that.
No. She told me too. She can. The only time I could see her is if I would show up at the restaurant that she works.
Okay. Are you from, is she from Eastern Europe?
Yes. We're both from, our countries are neighbors. So we were born in the same country.
Yeah, because I've heard even Eastern European women, they stay with their families. They could stay with their family until they're 28.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, that way we very cultural, different. Our tradition is very it's all about family, respecting the family, and especially for the females.
So what's the societal differences that you see between America and where you come from?
Well, I believe in Western countries, speaking about America, it was a very similar thing going on here 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. It's just now it's dead, right? It's completely died. But it's the same thing that was here in America 20, 30 years ago. We just continue hold on to those traditions and values and morals and beliefs that we have. It's respect to older, right? Respect to older. It's all about family. Man being man, woman being woman. Our job is man to be as much masculine as he can, and woman to be as much feminine as she can. And that's the combination that both work. That's why our divorce rate is so little. Like, I don't know the percentage, but it's day and night compared to Western countries. So I believe it's all because of upbringings and the values and beliefs that we put in our kids. And still nowadays, I talk to my dad with respect. Same thing with her. Same thing me with her family. It's just different. And I'm so glad that I've been in America for 20 years. I'm so glad that I didn't lose that.
For the people that don't know, where are you from?
I'm Armenian.
And how about your wife?
She's Azerbaijani.
Okay.
So, but I was born in Azerbaijan. So it's the same thing. Really, literally, it's the
same culture, same traditions, same morals.
Even the government, politics, they have their differences, and there's always a war, right? There's always a war going on somewhere. But our families got along so well. I get along so much with her family.
That's
same
good.
thing for her. So I had to ask for permission. And I wanted it. I wanted to do that because it makes me appreciate her. It's a wake up call for you too. It's like, oh, you know what? This is how it needs to be, you know? And you start treating and respecting that person on a different level. And when you do that, you have to live up to certain expectations. And when you live up to certain expectations, you work on a better vibration. You operate on a different vibration. So it's a whole positive circle that works around. So I asked for permission. 3 months after, I went back to her dad and asked for her hand. And then I proposed to her a week after that. And then I think less than a year, we just got married. So it was very quick.
Yeah, I do want to say congratulations again.
Thank you.
So the differences from our cultures or, our societies, why do you think that is? Why is the Western more, I guess, promiscuous women, less pushing away from the traditional family?
I'll be honest with you. It's a whole propaganda, right? It's a propaganda. It all starts from the head. It starts with the government because they want control. It's my personal belief. It starts from the government. They want control. That's why America has way more women than men, right? I believe it's 3-1 or something,
yes.
If not more. So they push the agenda indirectly through TVs, through Netflix, through you name it, to social media, to push women to be independent, to push women to go work. Why? Because it's double taxes. That's number one. Number two, that way they can have control over your kids, right? Because if mom and dad works, who watches the kids? School.
Yeah, the system.
Kindergarten system. So now they can push whatever agenda they want to push, and they're doing a pretty good job. So I believe the reason why it's like this is because nowadays, I'm not going to blame the woman, it's mainly men. Because men not being men, then woman is not being woman.
I agree.
So I believe that's why it's like this. Back home, it's not like that. The government doesn't support those things. Government supports opposite. Government supports for men to go to work. Women, again, not to say that women shouldn't work or shouldn't pursue their career or passion. My wife, I still say fiance. My wife is going to nursing school. I can't wait for her to finish, get her education, go work at the hospital, see if you like it. You don't like it.
Okay, cool.
Let's open a business.
I think what's pushing it away nowadays is people don't care about the family unit anymore. And that's because of social media and, like you said, the propaganda they are pushing. Because 100%. If you divide the households, then they can control the household. They control the kids through schooling, through all this social media.
100%. That's why I think it was Pearly Things. She said it, and people give her so much shit for that she said women shouldn't vote. And I 100% agree for that. Not because she's not capable of voting.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with that. Again, they will take any message, spin it out, add something, and make it look like it's misogynist or it's negative. But the truth is, it's household. there should be one vote from household, right?
I
So
agree.
women shouldn't vote. Imagine my wife voting for one
person
and I vote for another person. That's just nonsense.
Yeah.
It's completely nonsense. So I believe, for example, women shouldn't vote, meaning if she has a husband, if she has a household, because if she does, now it's already indirectly, subconsciously splitting a household. So they'll do any way possible to split a household, whether it's divide opinions and give different options for men and women, or kids and parents, right? So they'll find a way to do it, and they're doing a pretty good job. I'll tell you that much.
They're trying to push independence on women, even when they're in a relationship. You should still be independent, but when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to come together. You're supposed to build a foundation together and then build each other up.
100%. And I'll tell you a secret. Any woman, whether circumstances make her to be strong and she had to go work because whatever the choices she made, the man she chose wasn't a man enough, so it forced her to become independent and go make money for her kids because she's a single mother. Whatever the reason is, doesn't matter what kind of businesswoman, college student, any woman, I believe, deep inside, they want to be weak. They want to be weak in terms of they want to be taken care of because that's their nature.
Yes.
But the problem is sometimes they have no options. They have no choice but be strong and go do it because the man they chose or whatever they chose. But they don't understand if they change themselves and become more submissive and more feminine and find the right person, because they also want somebody high value man and all that stuff, but they don't bring anything to the table.
I agree.
Right. So it's the whole thing. If everything gets changed, if you literally break everything apart and build it correctly, every woman would be happy. Even the CEO of the company that runs any female CEO company, she wants to be weak sometimes and let her man handle the problems.
But she can't. She's not. They don't allow her to do that because she has to play the master role. Exactly. Yep. And when you're in that position already, you have to play that leadership role. We sit here and we talk about women a lot, though. I want to shift it over to the men. Men in today's society, they want to relax. They want to, I guess, have the women do everything. There's a stay home. They want to play the video games. They don't want to put the work in. And then women, they'll say, well, I'm going to act this way because you're acting this way. They'll say, oh, I'm going to act masculine until a guy can make me act feminine. But what happened if a guy said, I'm going to act feminine until you make me act masculine?
And exactly. So again, the system, right, or whatever you want to call it, right? I call it matrix too.
Yeah.
It's well thought plan that they had. They attack a man, woman, youth from different angles seamlessly, where everything gets damaged, right? So man, they enforce man to talk about their feelings. They enforce man to, it's okay to go be depressed. It's okay to do this. It's okay. You don't have to, like, all this nonsense. I didn't grow up like this. There's no such thing. You can't whine. You got to go get results. You got to go work. You got to provide for your family. The reason why is because I saw my dad working. I never saw my dad. I only saw my dad at dinner sometimes because he would work, leave. His love was, I'm bringing food on the table and you have a roof over your head.
Yes.
So it was built inside me that you have to work hard, you have to protect, you have to provide. That was programming that I got and many other people. Nowadays, they don't program, they don't do that. They don't enforce those. So they do opposite. So when they do opposite, man is not being man.
I agree.
They're not being man. I still see people going on a date or husband and wife and they split the bill. And it's not even about the money, but it's just they don't have the sense of, you know what, I'm a man. And that's why the marriage is not, that's why nobody wants to get married.
I agree.
And man blames woman blames man. And guess what? They're happy on top because that was their goal.
Split
nobody's
us up,
going to
divide us.
Yeah. It takes a very sovereign individual to go look at the mirror and say, you know what? I'll take responsibility. Yes, those girls are stupid. They're not the right ones. But you know what? What do I have to do to attract the right one? You are what you attract. Why would you go and look for a wife in a club? Right? And then complain that she's not a wife material. Right? Yeah. Or same thing for a girl. Why would you go look for a husband or a boyfriend in a club and then complain that he's not man or he's not husband material? So It takes a sovereign individual to go look at the mirror and say, okay, they're like this, fine. What do I have to do to attract the right person in my life? What do I have to do to be able to be the right person, right? Because if you're the right person, you attract the right person.
Great.
So that's what I believe that's what every man should do. They should stop watching the TV, watching social media, follow this whole bling bling and all the stuff. Go put your head down, be humble, go work. Go work on yourself. Have a job, have 2 jobs, save up money, figure out the way, go sign up for a gym, get your ass kicked, go sign up to kickboxing class or something. Start working on yourself, put your feelings aside. And things will start working out for you. At least start, that's the first steps. For women, do the same thing, right? I always tell people, go and if you remember your grandmother, go sit and think about your grandmother. Okay? Or if you still have grandmother alive, go talk to her. She at least gonna have most likely some sense, and she'll be able to help you understand how she will. Ask her questions. Grandma, how was you and your dad and grandpa? Go find an old lady, somebody, your neighbor, 80 years old, 90 years old. Go have a conversation with them. Go look at some old movies. Go look at foreign movies. Put a love soap opera from Turkey or from Korea, from somewhere from there. Sit and watch that soap opera instead of watching Kim Kardashian's, okay? Go watch it and you'll see how female acts and you'll see how men acts in those TV shows or movies. Go be more feminine, be humble, be respectful. Start working on yourself. Understand that when you're old, the best thing you can have is grandchildren. You don't want your kids to go and say, my mom had a OnlyFans account, right? Just because you need money now. It's so broken that it takes a lot now for the people to wake up, become a sovereign. It's very hard, but the few that will do it, that will change the rest. Yes, I believe. So I believe that's what the difference, and that's what people should do. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it is. You're an entrepreneur yourself, and you live that entrepreneur lifestyle using the traditional values that you learned from your father. And how did that impact you in your life?
I think it's foundation of everything I have. It's the simple things, right? Money is not everything. Meaning we need money, but don't get sold by money, right? For example, I would never cheat somebody out for $5 more at the deal, right? I have principles. I live by the principles, values. So even though we're in the business of making money, I do things right, right? It's you have to do things right, and you have to know what's right thing to do, right? It's very important. A lot of people in business nowadays, you can trust them, right? You can trust them. I think the way you do, the quote I live by, Basil, is this: the way you do one thing is the way. I think I told you that last time. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you eat messy, your room is messy, most likely. If your room is messy, your bank account probably is messy, right? If we go out and you cheat on your girl and you lie, most likely you will do the same thing if we do business together, right? That's how I see it. That's how I live my life. So that's why I live by certain principles. I do business with the people I trust, and I make sure I provide for them the same trust that they can trust me. That I'm not going to go, if somebody offers me 10% more somewhere else, I'm not going to go and jump on the different deal, because I have loyalty. I believe loyalty, brotherhood. It's very important. It's very important. Trust, loyalty, brotherhood, to do things right, not to be corrupted. It's easy to say those things, and it's very hard to follow those things. But I think that's the things that helped me to get where I am today. And mainly what it helped me is because, which we spoke earlier, I believe something called law of association.
Correct.
A lot of people become successful is because of who they know, right? I always post everywhere. Everywhere I do training, I talk about same thing. It's not what you know, it's who you know. But what's more important is who knows you, right? And now they know you. And what people ask me, what do you mean by that? Well, let's talk about this. We all know Jay-Z, but does Jay-Z knows you? Right?
No.
That's important, dude. So how do you become that person that they're gonna notice, that they're gonna like, that they're gonna remember? I had a chance to talk to Andrew in September. I promise you, I bet if you talk to him right now and you say, Artur, he might say no. But you say the Armenian guy that talks fast.
Yeah.
I was talking to you on a FaceTime. You'd be like, oh yeah, I remember him. Same thing with Justin, for example, right? Hey, do you know Artur? No. The guy from Connecticut that always trying to meet with you. They'll remember you, right? So who knows you is super important. But now, how do you make sure they know you and remember you? Well, do they like you? Do they trust you? Would they do business with you? Okay, so how do you work on those things? You got to look at, first thing, how strong is your character? Right? Do you do things that you support? If you said you're going to do it, are you doing it? Right? Because man, where I grew up, only thing that man has is his word. Right? If you said something, you do it. And I try to live by that rule. So if I promise somebody something, I'm going to make sure I do it. There's no excuses, right? So that's very important to have a strong character. Then it goes with charisma. Are you a likable person?
Yeah.
Do people like to be around you, or are you always complaining, right? Or do people feel comfortable around you, or they feel judged? Do they feel like they can trust you or share things with you? So all those things come from self-development. So I'm just breaking down for the part, because for the young guys that there's like, okay, so how do I get to that? How do I get to, so Basil could know me, so Basil could pick up my phone call, and so I could try to pitch him a business idea to work with him. Well, if you want to work with Basil, if you want to work with someone, what you have to do is you got to start working on yourself, right? And first thing is self-development, right? Start working on your character, work on your charisma, educate yourself. It's super important to educate yourself. Whatever you do, is it, well, you want to get into crypto, educate yourself. You want to get in luxury car rentals, educate yourself. Hang out with the people that they're doing already. Be humble, be coachable. And when you start working on those things, and that's how you start unfolding the map. And then you start hanging out with right people, and then they like you, they see you. They're like, you know what, that guy is always on time. That guy always does what he said he's going to do. You know what, I like him. He's always smiling. I like him because he always has a good energy. He doesn't bring outside drama when we're meeting up. They start noticing you. Then now you're hanging out with them. Now you can pitch them an idea. You can pitch them a business. You can ask them. They'll help you out, because everybody wants to help. I believe we all want to help each other. We just don't know how. And we want to help people that they deserve the help, right? So I think that's those values, and that's the values that got me where I am today, because a lot of the businesses I'm involved with is because somebody just like me, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to put, law association. I was like, you know what, I'm going to put Artur on this project.
I'm going to stick with that now. Yeah. A law of association.
Super important. It's super important.
Your network is your net worth.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. You are sum of 5 people you hang out with. But how do you get to the different sum, right?
Yeah. And that's where I was going to ask you the next question. You were talking about how you do wholesaling. You also have your own clothing brand. But how did you get started in your entrepreneur lifestyle?
All right. I'll try to give you quick 2 stories. So I got laid off with a huge corporation. I went to college. I started working for a huge corporation. I thought I was like, American dream came true. Then I got laid off. It was big recession. So I started working in sales, calling center, making sale calls. And I got introduced to network marketing. I think network marketing, not to promote any company or anything, but in general, network marketing is the best school for entrepreneurs. Robert Kiyosaki will tell you that, Donald Trump will tell you that, and many, many other people will tell you the same thing, because that's where you learn everything. You learn about yourself. Mm-hmm. You learn about business. You learn how to talk, how to dress, how to think outside the box. So I got introduced to network marketing, and in network marketing, that's where all my journey started, where I started reading books. I never read book before. Never read book before. In school, never read the book. That's not my thing. But when I start seeing that people got results, and I start asking them, how do you get the results? Like, oh, go read this book. I was like, okay. And then I started following the steps. That's where my journey on self-development started working out. And of course, learning sales skills. So you're learning skills and you're learning about yourself. But because you start working on those things, you start applying, people start liking you. And then they start doing outside things, outside projects. And they want to do business with people they like, or they can trust, or they can see, okay, this guy has a work ethic. So then I got introduced to one person, another person, different ventures. I tried so many different businesses. But the bottom line, and then I went to real estate. And the reason why I started real estate is I always thought that you need money to do real estate. And I believe people that's watching, they'll tell you the same things like, oh, I can't wait to start flipping properties and do this. I just need to save up money. You'll never save up money. You'll never save up money to do real estate because it's not like you're going to save up $500,000 to purchase something. So faster you get that out of your head, faster you'll be able to go to the next step. I wish I could have figured that out earlier. So what happened is, I'll tell you the quick story. So there's investor. So I found the property. I wanted to buy it because I knew there was potential. There's a margin in it. I started looking for money. I was like, how can I do it? They're like, well, this guy lends money. So all the people I went lending money, they all want some collateral or they want 20% down. Yeah. It's like, I don't have that. I didn't have business at that time. Do you have anything to call? No, nothing.
No car?
No car. Not my car was, no car.
No money in the bank?
No money in the bank. I had, when I started my journey, I had a BMW. And you know what BMW stands for?
No.
Boss, mom, or walk. That was my car. That was my car. Okay, so my first car was Ford Taurus. Then I had a Chrysler. You know those Chryslers that look like a funeral truck?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had a purple one. So trust me, I had no transportation. Definitely not for collateral.
Yeah.
So I remember I walked in. I found this guy. Somebody referred me. I sent him an email. I called him. I sent him an email. And he's like, yeah, I'll review it. I'll let you know. I was like, you know what? I have to be persistent. Persistency. It's super important. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to end the presentation. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to print it in color. I'm going to spend some money, print it in color, the whole project, all the numbers and everything. And I'm going to drop off at his office. I Google his office. I come in. I remember them. I come in and I ask the lady, her name was Donna. I ask her, I'm here to see so-and-so. She's like, oh, he's in a meeting right now. You have an appointment? I was like, I don't have an appointment. I just want to introduce myself. Just drop it off. He's like, well, you can wait once he get out from this appointment, but I think he has to leave because today is his birthday. I was like, okay. So I'm literally from the corner of my eye, I'm looking at him and he looked at me and I see he's in a meeting and I see a bottle of a Blue Label there and I see it's empty. Mm-hmm. So it's on his back shelf behind him. So I was like, I'm sitting and waiting. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? You have to invest, right? So I went, I'll be right back. I found a liquor store and a bakery. I got a cake, nice European cake. I got a bottle of Blue Label. I came in, I was dressed because you have to, I don't dress up. We don't dress up now, but when I was in my building mode, I would have a suit and tie all the time because you got to look like money. So I went, I bought it. I get back, I sit down and the people get out. He says bye to them. And he's like looking at me like, who is this person? Do I have another appointment or stuff? I get up, I shake his hand, look at his eyes. I was like, I call his name. I said, my name is Artur. I sent you an email the other day. I know it's your birthday. Happy birthday. He was shocked. He's like, oh, how do you know? Oh my God, Blue Label. You know what? Come in 5 minutes before I wrap up. Yeah. So what's going on? Tell me about yourself. I share, stories. You got to remember this. Facts tell, stories sell. Right? You have to do both. Okay. You have to provide some facts. Like, here's the numbers. We'll make money, right? This is because it's facts, right? You have to provide facts. You have to do your homework, but you have to share stories. People do business that they like. If you share stories, you share your why, the reasons, you'll be able to get farther than just sharing facts. So we sit down and he's like, oh yeah, so I got your email, I got it reviewed. I was like, don't worry about it. I got a hard copy for you. Oh wow, you did it nice. I was like, yeah, I tried. I really want to lock this deal before. Okay, no problem. So do you have 20%? Same question. Do you have 20%? No. Do you have any collateral? No. And he's looking at me, but I already win him over. Yeah. It's not that I win him over because I bought him a gift. No, but I win him over. I shared. I was like, listen, I came to this country. I have family to take care of. I don't want to work a traditional job. I want to get into real estate. I just need somebody who believes in me. And he's like, you know what? I've never done this, but I'll give you 100% funding. He gave me like 2 points extra. So what I did is when I closed the deal, I give him 2 points even more. I wrote a check even more because he believed in me. And still nowadays, I would think it's 15 years later, I still do business with him. I went to eat with him the other day, took him for lunch. So he became one of my, I wouldn't say mentors, but one of the people that helps me out in terms of the real estate. He still funds some of my deals, but I started my career with zero money down. No money down, but that's the first deal that opened up doors for many, many more. Yeah. Last year we closed 20 deals.
And for the viewers watching, he's not saying this is something that can happen for you, but it's a possibility if you know how to provide value to people.
Yes.
He sat there and he put his neck out. He was like, cool, let me go get this blue label. Let me go get this cake. He still could have not have got funded, but he did because he showed the value up front. He told a story that was good enough for whoever the person was to invest into himself.
Yes, you have to. You have to provide. You always have to. A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people always want to talk about what they, what I can do for you. But you have to actually do it.
Yeah.
You have to provide value. Everybody's looking for help, for hangout. No, you have to provide value. And providing value could be in many different ways, right? I did my homework. I tried to make it easier, his job. I printed out for him in colors, put it in a folder. That's providing value. Showing that I am all in. Showing that I'm serious. Exactly like he said. It's not the blue label that made it. It's my story. It's my story. It's the whole thing. It's the micro little things. It's not just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I only get funding, no. In order for you to get funding, you have to be the right person. You have to understand. You have to read the room. You have to understand who you're dealing with. So there's so many little pieces that goes there, and you learn them as you go. But again, you have to always, in your mind, you always have to have the, what can I bring to the table, right? And instead of what can they do for me, it's what can I do for them? So I think that's super important. That's
small things add up over time.
100%.
So we were talking about books before. What do you think is the best book that's helped you and provided a resource, as in like knowledge to help you with your businesses?
Different stage of your life is a different book that can help you sort of get to the next level. But I think from beginning, main books that help me is John C. Maxwell. Okay, maybe you can put it on the screen, those books. But yes. John C. Maxwell, and I'll tell you actually the books. So one of them, what we call it, he has a blue, green, and red. That's how we call it, those books. So this is the ultimate one, right? Okay. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
And we'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, we'll put it. Then there's a green book, 21 Qualities of a Leader, right? So the top one is the last one you should read. And the blue one is the 17 Irrefutable Laws of Teamwork, right? So you start with the blue book because you need to know how to be a team player. Then you read the green book because you want to learn the qualities the leaders have, and you start working on those. I'm making my son to read the book now, and I recommend everyone to read it. Anybody who's in sales or in any entrepreneurship where they want to progress and pursue and they want to be able to work with people and lead people, you got to learn how to be a team player first. Then you got to learn about qualities of leadership that it takes. And the last one, you got to learn not just qualities now, but universal laws of being a leader. So those books, for sure, I would start with those books.
For the people that might say, well, I don't have time to read these books, what would you tell them?
That they full of bullshit. Because I used to say that. I was so caught up. So you got to understand the difference between working in your business and working on your business, right? If you don't put the time in yourself to get yourself to the next level, number one, you're doing dishonor to your people because now you can't lead them. You can only lead certain people, so much. You need to grow in order for your team to grow, in order for your business to grow. For the people to follow you, you have to be able to always be growing, always leading. And if you don't do that, and that's not just by bringing money, right? That's not by just making money. It's by how many people lives did you change in your organization? How many people did you help to get to the next level? Right? But in order to do that, you have to grow, right? So those people who says that, because I used to say that, because I have bills to pay, because I have to work hard. I got to help my mom. I got to help my dad. So I don't have time for books. You do. You do. We all have. If I break down anybody's day, if somebody sits down and tells me their schedule, I'll find a place and time where they can do the books. I personally do audiobooks.
Okay.
I drive for 2 hours somewhere, an hour. I don't listen to music. I listen. So there's 3 things I do when I drive. Either there's no music at all, and I talk to myself, and people think I'm crazy, but I just go through my thoughts, right? Having conversation with myself or just thinking about things. Or I either play a pump music that pump me up for a little bit, because we all need the extra
Boost
push, right? Yeah, boost of energy. Most of the times I read audiobooks. And when I listen to audiobooks, I listen to them on a faster speed, a little bit faster speed. It's another trick that I just learned from somebody who's very successful, because it helps your mind work even better. But audiobooks, you don't have time? Do you drive to work? 15 minutes, 20 minutes? Boom, one chapter is done. You go to sleep, boom, chapter is done. You wake up in the morning, you're brushing your teeth, it's playing. There's no excuses. Listen, you can't go to the bank with a check and write an excuse and cash it out. That's how I see it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you cannot do that. There's no excuse, because I used to say that. That's why I can tell them, whoever says that, they don't want it bad enough, or they don't see the value. Because if you see the value and understand that this book can help you get to the next level, then you will drop everything and do it. When you like a girl, especially the guys, when we're broke as hell, you have no money, but you like this girl and she's like 30 minutes away at her car, you will become very clever.
You'll find something out.
Find a car. You'll borrow a car from, hey, bro, can I borrow your car?
Yeah.
Hey, can I borrow 50? You'll figure out a way and to get a haircut. You get all that stuff. Because I remember when you're young and money's tight, but you got the girl that you like and she said yes for you to go on a date. For some reason, you found her right. You got money for a haircut. You have money for a new shirt. You found all that. But when somebody says, hey, you got to get that book, it's $15. Nobody wants to spend it because they don't see the value in it. That's a simple. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of young people, especially nowadays, the youth, they spend more money on outside their head or outside their body than on the inside of their body. And that's what the problem is. You have to spend more money on the inside of your body than on the outside. And I mean, whether it's an audiobook or book that you got to buy, or it's a choice of food you choose put inside your body, whether it's alcohol or junk food, instead of putting something organic and juice that we just purchased the juice, right? $12. If somebody says it's too expensive, it's not, because it's for your health, right? So back to the answer, it's bullshit. You have time. You have resources, you can find it. If not, then you deserve to be broke. I'll be honest with you. Those people who still, if I wouldn't wake up and see the value in those things, I would be broke right now. Because if not, then the moment you realize it, you'll find a way. So yeah, those books are super important. I think that's the best one to start with for a lot of people. And I don't care what stage. You could have a company right now that operates and makes you $1 million in revenue. If you haven't read the book, I recommend to read the book, because leadership is super important. I think that's what nowadays people lack, companies lack, or country lacks, is the correct leadership, right? So that's that. Then there's another book, it's called 5 Levels of Leadership.
Okay.
So that's
you actually told me about that one.
Yeah, that was a good book.
Let's shift the conversation a little. Let's talk about your clothing line. What's the name of it again?
It's Zavi Couture. Zavi Couture, and the way I got into it is I'm a short guy, and I like dress nice. So every time I would buy something, I had to tailor. I had to find a tailor. I have to figure out a way to do it. So one of my very good friends owned a couple shops, tailor shops, and his family retired, so they can't run too many shops. So they left. So I bought one of the tailor shops. Then we remodel it, and then I start seeing people coming to me with suits from Nordstrom or Macy's, and that the suit is like a box, and they have to spend extra $300 just tailored to look nice. So that's when the idea came, like, why don't I just start my own line? Because I didn't want to just buy and resell.
Yes.
So I got very fortunate. I have a good partner who is, he's magician when it comes to the work that he does, right? Right now, currently, he just made a dress for Mrs. The one that married is Mrs., right?
Yes.
Mrs. Connecticut, that is in Vegas right now. to be for going for Mrs. America, competing for Mrs. America. So we sponsor her. We're doing a dress for her. He did the dress in like a week for her. So yeah, so he's talented, super talented. So I partner up with him, and we got the clothing line going. It's my passion. I'm not focusing on it so much. It's just on an autopilot.
Okay.
He's handling everything. But yeah, I love clothes. I still got you get your suit. So you either gotta come to Connecticut or next time I'll just get your measurements. But yeah, that's something I will do more once everything is settled.
And where can they find you? They can find you on Instagram. They have a website.
Yeah, Instagram. We have a website, but it's not operating again because this shop is so small.
Okay.
It's a small store. We have a lot of sales. A lot of people drive an hour away just to come either get tailored or buy something from us.
Okay.
But again, we're super small right now. I'm not ready to scale it to the next level yet. But yeah, Zavi on Instagram, Zavi Couture. They'll be able to find it.
What's the most valuable lesson you learned from failure or a mistake that you've made?
Take full responsibility for whatever happens. Whatever happened or happens. Meaning what I mean by that, even if it's not your fault, whatever the mistake you made, the deal failed, or whatever, the relationship broke apart, even if it's not your fault, the best way to be able to solve this and move forward, or best way not to get back into the same mistake or make the same mistake, first step is make sure you take full responsibility for it. And what I mean by that, even if it's 100% not your fault, it's your fault.
Can you give the viewers an example?
Anything happened, let's say the deal fell through, and you did messed up. My partner Basil did messed up, whatever. It's my It's my fault for trusting him that much. It's my fault for not overseeing it. It's my fault for trusting too much. It's my fault for. So I always look at it that way. Any situation, I was like, how is it could be my fault? What could have I done differently?
Okay.
To not to be in this situation, or not, so for this not to happen. So that's what I mean. So no matter what, always don't be a victim. Don't be a victim. And the reason why I say that, because if you want to handle something, right? If you want to handle the problem, the failure or mistake, you have to have control over it. More control you have over it, more opportunity do you have to be able to change it. In order for you to do that, you have to have control. The only way the moment you blame someone or something else, then you lose control. You give out that power. But if you fully responsible, take full responsibility, you have more control. Anything goes wrong, okay, what I could have done wrong? Well, I should have never done business with this person. Okay, so next time, I'm going to know, before I do business, I got to give them more time before I start doing the business. I got to vend them more. I got to talk to them more. I got to spend more time with them before I trust them. Whatever it is, situation, I promise you it will work out. Just whoever's watching it, whatever the last mistake you made, start thinking differently instead of blaming. She's stupid. She was a whore. She's this. He's an idiot. He's lazy. Whatever the case is, it's government's fault. It's this fault. It's system's fault. Whatever there is, look back and just ask yourself, okay, how could it be my fault? What would I do differently next time, right? So I think the first thing, the lesson I learned is to take full responsibilities. Because when I didn't, because it's easier to blame. It's easier to say, well, I did my part. He didn't do his part or whatever. It's easier to say that. But the moment I start taking full responsibility, I start making better choices, better decisions. I start thinking twice before I start doing it. So I think that's the first step is that. Second thing is you have to sometimes, when it comes to business or any serious decisions, you have to give it a couple days before you make the decision, because it's easier to make decisions when you're emotional, right? So I always tell people you got to know how to be logically emotional. So a lot of people are just emotional, or a lot of people are just logical. You have to know how to be logically emotional, right? Or emotionally logical. So that's the balance you have to have. A lot of times we make decisions on emotions, right? Or we just make decisions on logic. And when you make decisions on logic, you miss opportunity where the emotions could play. When you make decisions on emotions, a lot of times you're missing what logic could help you. So I always tell people, take your time and make emotionally logical decisions, right? So That's from personal, because I know I made a lot of mistakes based just on emotions or based just on logic. So you'd be able to take your time, sleep over it 1 night, 2 nights, and then make that decision. It's always good. Sometimes you have to make fast decisions, which is fine. And if you made a mistake and you lost or whatever, also fine. Learn from it, right? How do you learn from it? By taking a full responsibility that it was your fault for making that. It's if I made a deal with Basil and something went wrong, but I know I made a decision because I was emotional, I made a decision fast. Somebody else would say, well, I should have never made the deal with him. He's in this and that. What I'm going to say is, well, I made a decision too fast. I have to take full responsibility. It's not his fault. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So take full responsibility, even if it's not your fault, even though you did 100%, you had a pure heart. And don't be too emotional and don't be too logical. Learn how to be logically emotional or emotionally logical, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I was watching a video the other day, and you're talking about take full responsibility, so accountability for your actions and so on. This girl was talking about I have time blindness, and that it's I guess a mental disorder, that if like I come late to work, it's because I have time blindness. She didn't want to take accountability. What do you have to say for, delusional acts like that?
Right. Who talks about this a lot, right? Andrew talks about that a lot.
Yeah.
Why would you blame? Again, nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
You're fine. You can continue, whoever that person is, you can continue living the way you live. But then don't be upset when people don't want to give you promotion.
Exactly.
When they don't want to hire you. Don't be upset because they're not going to, just because you have whatever nowadays they have all these different diseases or what is it? Was she at time what?
Time blindness.
I don't even know what that is. Okay.
She made some term up, time
Yeah.
blindness.
So even let's say if it's real, right? Or same thing. Again, this is huge on internet. Andrew Tate always talks about it. Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe also I can be depressed. I can feel depressed.
Mm-hmm.
We're humans. I can feel sad. I can feel like, but I don't label myself as, I have depression or I'm depressed. No, because the moment you do that, again, same thing. You give out the power. And you give out the power, and then that means you can't change it. So you just literally give up. So you blame on something else or someone else. You give out that power. If you give out that power, you won't be able to grow. So for that girl, the advice is you can blame it as much as you want. And if you're happy in your life, whether it's financially or personal life, then you're fine. Just keep blaming it. Find something else to blame something else. And you can live like this. That's completely fine. But if you're not happy and if you want to progress, you want to grow, then you need to stop blaming those things. Even if it's real, mind is a very powerful thing. You can trick your mind to think otherwise, and you'll see how that time blind disease of yours will little by little start disappearing.
Yeah, and it's only in America or the Western world where everything's easy for you, where time blindness and all this depression, etc., is like a huge thing. It's crazy. You go places where like third world countries, they don't talk about this. When you see them, they're always looking happy. They have the family, they have the culture, they're traditional.
It's so seamless. People don't notice, but day by day, they're just giving out their power to the government, slow, and then again, that's why I believe movie Matrix is it's not a movie, it's a documentary, because this is exactly what people don't see it faster. People wake up to be able to see that and take full control of themselves. They'll be able to see, again, go visit third world country. You will appreciate everything you have. We live in one of the best countries in terms of opportunities, but for some reason, people not making anything out of it, right? Is because they give out that power. I have ADHD.
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 Mm-hmm.
People told me. I'm sure I probably have it more than other people, but I don't blame it as excuse. Matter of fact, I use it as I was like, I have that. That's why I'm talk fast. Yeah, that's why I can't sleep at night. That's why I work so hard. I don't use it as an excuse not to work, right? Again, the moment you start telling, and they started in school, They start in my son's. Oh, he might have this. Go to the doctor. He might this, and we can put him in a room so he could do homework on his own. They just do anything to take away your power.
Exactly. Let's put you on medication. Yes. Let's do this and that. Yes. Yeah. And it's just giving your power away. It's putting more money into their pockets.
Yep, 100%. And people still believe the COVID was real.
Yeah, that blows my mind.
They still believe after they was proven to those that was supporting the whole thing, because they don't want to hurt their ego.
Correct.
That's how programmed they are, that they would not. I recommend everyone to go look at, it's called, Luke Belmar actually made a video about it. Allegory of the Cave. It's very important for everybody to look at it, because that one breaks down how people, even after they know the truth, they would not do anything about it. So it splits in three ways, right? There's people that know the truth and go against it. There's people that are completely blind about the truth and what's going on, and they like literally just NPCs completely just follow the system. And then there's people that know there's the truth, but they cowards. They don't wanna go against it, and they just live comfortable. So it's very important to understand where you are in those three.
Yeah.
If you haven't been walking, you should wake up, and you wake up, you should understand that you can change, and you can help somebody else to change. You know, whether it's how about your own kids? How about your own family, right? So definitely look up the Luke Belmar, right? Talks about the cave of Plato's cave of allegory of the cave, something like that. So it's super important to understand that. So that's the answer to that girl.
Yeah, definitely. Even talking about COVID, it is crazy how like they will come out with evidence and people still just be oblivious to it. They won't care at all. I mean, even with the vaccines, it came out, Pfizer, Moderna, all these companies. The vaccine didn't do anything, but they were more damage. Yeah, exactly. And people were actually getting harmed from it. But then they'll say on the news, etc., yeah, the death rate was been going down because of the vaccine. But then we find out the vaccine wasn't working. So what is it? You gotta pick a lie, and clearly, it's not adding up. But people will still,
and they straight up, you would straight up show them a video of them saying one thing 2 years before and telling another thing, and nobody holds them accountable. And again. And that's fine, as long as you don't buy into it, right?
I agree.
So we're not here to argue that or try to fight against them. I'm just like, okay, I know the truth. Here's the proof. Hopefully you got it. Let's make sure we don't buy that shit again, right? So because there will be another vaccine coming out. There will be another epidemic coming out in a couple of years. I promise you. It's what you're going to do about it. So I believe what the best thing to, kind of to finish up with this, if you believe and you've been awakened by this whole thing and you finally see there's more to it. There's a truth. This is not the truth. What I recommend to do is start working on three things. Okay. First thing, start working on your money. We're in 2023. There's no way, no excuse why you can make $10,000 online today. There's so many ways. Contact this guy. He'll tell you many ways how you can make money. How old are you?
20.
20 years old. 20 years old. Ask him how many sources of income he has. So there's always people out there who makes money. So first thing you got to do is figure out a way to make money.
Correct.
Because you want to be ready for the next big thing that they're going to throw at us, right? Second thing you got to do is you got to get a better network. Have to get better network, because money alone is not going to help you, right? Money is just unit of options. You have more options, but to be able to utilize those options, you have to have a right network, right? How do you get right network? We talked about earlier. Self-development, start working on yourself. And the third thing is I always believe you have to work on your self-awareness and be able to resist the temptation and whole propaganda of social media and everything. I have social media. We all have social media. But again, it's not to be able to get caught up in it and be able to become a sovereign individual, right? So those three things, if you start working on it now, there's no excuse. I know COVID came out of nowhere and people didn't know what to do, what's going on. You weren't ready. That's fine. Now, since you see what's happening now, start preparing yourself now. Because it will happen again. Something else will happen again. So how ready are you going to be next time? Next time something happen, do you have the right connection that can help you get around? Do you have money to be able to provide those options, solutions for those things, right? And are you strong enough mentally, physically? Are you becoming a sovereign, I call it sovereign individual, to be able to think for yourself, be self-aware of what's going on? So those 3 things, I believe everybody should work on it now, especially young guys, right? Especially young guys, because our future in our youth, and I'm talking about specifically guys, men. So I think that's the 3 things that I would recommend anybody just to start working.
Yes. Artur, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being my first guest for my YouTube channel.
Oh, it is first guest.
Yeah,
Yes,
first
nice.
guest,
Well,
first
I'm
video,
honored.
everything.
I got you this.
And you got me a present.
So some fine cigars you smoke, because I know you don't drink. So
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Enjoy, brother.
Show the guest.
Perfect.
This is the great present. I thank you,
Appreciate
brother.
it,
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.
This is a great podcast. Where can these people find you?
I'm on Instagram, The Real Shaknazarov, and the reason why it's The Real Shaknazarov because my Instagram got stolen.
Oh, they took it?
Yeah, they took it, so I had to create a new one. So it's a The Real Shaknazarov. You'll probably put it.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen. It'll also be in the description, guys. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you hit him up. Make sure you go get his suit. Yes. If you want to get into wholesaling, also hit him up. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here again.
I'll see you.
I hope I'll add something.
Yeah, we'll feed.